And that's how it is. A major problem in society today, I believe, is that people form a worldview before they have seen the world. And trying to say that the youth knows nothing about anything. They have not lived. That is why I go through that. How incredibly dangerous what's happening at universities in Norway and other countries now, that they allow, that's how it is, we are more like this red ideology with wide open eyes and spit coming out of their mouth. And those are the people who submit themselves at university because these youths know nothing about the world. It's easy to indoctrinate. It's easy to mislead. It's not that I think the world should be ruled by the elderly, but I believe in respecting experience. You're crazy if you don't respect experience, because the only true indicator of what is to come is what has been. And for that, you need to know what has been. And having the energy, come and believe you can change society like a Chavez in Venezuela. There you see what happens when you give all power to one person. Someone who doesn't understand society, who knows nothing about economics, administration, or public management, is given all the power. He drove that society down the toilet in 20 years. I feel like it's something I'm not losing a bit with the times living, that I feel like the newer generations have much less respect for the elderly than there used to be. It's a bit of a perception on my part. I don't know what you think about it. If that's the case, where it actually, one doesn't looking up to the elderly or being interested in hearing what they have to say and giving them some sort of nickname if an elder participates in some debate. So I think it's a country appreciating experience. Life experience is absolutely invaluable, something no textbooks can offer you. The aspect there, I wonder if it's fading away more and more. It seems like that respect for the elderly is a bit gone. Yes, it's a sign of the times that lived experience is something that is undervalued because it is a new era. Now we live in a culture that has an insane celebration of youth within the bizarre. Children we highlight as saints because their opinions in some way are purer and more truthful. Without that, where do they get these opinions from? They didn't just conjure them up on their own. Usually there's someone or something behind it. Mediocre ideologist and visionary, and they have pumped these children, wound them up like a tech-up toy and sent them into play in front of the cameras, while we all must say, yes, look at the children, she's telling the truth. It's kind of crispy, and it's like something like that. Humanity's history does not repeat itself. Eric Hobsbawm said, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes, and it does. We make the same mistakes over and over and over again, and maybe that's because we live so short. But now we're in a phase where we celebrate youth, and the youth turn away from democracy, and that's one of the really disturbing trends that the democracy index shows happening in Latin America. That group which those with the least faith in democracy are the young. You can also say that is because they have been let down by democracy. No, it's because they've been taught not to respect democracy. Did you sneak in a little Greta Thunberg earlier? No, there are many. It's the whole influencer culture, right? So many of these influencers are just plain stupid. They haven't read a book. They know nothing at all. And they're so dumb, they don't even know where their opinions come from. It's not like these interests are decent enough to say, I've read this in the Financial Times. They don't read the Financial Times. They don't read proper newspapers. They just have prejudices. And it's also like Nicolas Gomestad-Villa, who is the great reactionary philosopher. He wrote customer songs, very funny if you want to read something like that. Something that can joy a cold heart that has realized it as they rest. Colombians who say that being educated is learning to distrust your own prejudices. And it's very true. That's what education should be. We are all biases, academic, everyone else has. There are things whispering in your ears that this is how it is. Being educated means to distrust that voice and try to inform oneself and read up. And you'll see how often you change your own opinions once you've delved into the matter and understand why it's so hard to do something like that. Why things are the way they are, why the world is put together the way it is mostly dinner. Very good reason. And it's not just because one doesn't want to achieve good, but also because one is trying to avoid evil. And that's part of the problem with how politics is conducted today, is that some people are so focused on the one thing they care about that they don't see how things are connected, right? First, people got it into their heads that nuclear power is an evil, so they abolish nuclear power, and now you see the leaves. Blackouts in Germany, electricity is so expensive that the poor can hardly afford to heat themselves through the winter. Do you think they're going to vote for you next year, or what? Right? How then a single issue thing spills over into the physical world, that it bounces back into politics, is the kind of thing your grandfather could have told you if you had bothered to listen to him.